everybody, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing the highly requested walking video. So if that sounds like something you're interested in seeing, please stick around. Before we get started, I just want to say that this story of my walking is of course my own, and I do not speak for anybody else who has cerebral palsy. Okay, so if you're new here, let me introduce myself. My name is Blemmy, and I am a 35-year-old woman who lives with spastic diplegia cerebral palsy. This channel is mainly about my life and how I navigate living with cerebral palsy. But of course, my life is not just cerebral palsy. So now and again, I will throw in some beauty, lifestyle, home hacks videos, that sort of thing. So if that's something you're interested in, please consider subscribing and giving this video a thumbs up to see more content like that. Okay, so walking. First, I'm going to tell you the story of my walking journey thus far, and then at the end of the video I'm going to show you some footage of me walking currently, and if I can find it, I'm still trying to find it, some footage of me walking when I first started to walk will be put in there as well, but I'm having a hard time locating it. So if I can't find it for today, I will show it to you guys sometimes later if you want it. Okay, here's my walking story. So like I said in my intro, I was born with spastic diplegia cerebral palsy. I was about 3-ish months premature, and I weighed 2 pounds 10 ounces. And so at the age of 2-ish, I was given the diagnosis that I have just mentioned. My parents were given a very grim reality check. The doctors then said that I would have very little chance of ever walking, talking, feeding myself, or living a normal life. This was back in 1988, 87, I suppose. My mom didn't take any of this to heart. She says that she was in denial. And I'm kind of glad that she was a little bit. So she decided to raise me like she was raising my older brother, who does not have cerebral palsy, just knowing that I would have some developmental delays and whatnot. And of course I did. I started off at the age I can remember of 3, and I crawled everywhere. I crawled everywhere to get to where I wanted to go. My grandma even made me these really cool pink knee pads to go on my knees so that my pants wouldn't get worn out. And I loved to wear dresses, so she did it to keep my knees safe. And I would crawl everywhere at home and at my grandparents' house. That's how I got around, and I didn't see anything different about crawling. In fact, I was really upset when we went out to the mall and my mom wouldn't let me out of my wheelchair to crawl and go around and just wander around like my brother was. I couldn't comprehend what was so different about my brother walking from store to store, or not from store to store, I guess we were too young, but from place to place within the store, and I wasn't given that same freedom. I didn't understand that crawling was not seen as a form of transportation for a young one. I desperately wanted to walk. The people around me, they only had the best intentions for me. My grandparents, my parents, family, friends were all centered on this one task of getting me to walk, because that's how they saw that I would live the most normal life. Someone told me that when you're 4, you'll be able to walk. So me being a little child, I took that really literally, and I thought, oh, on my 4th birthday, I'm going to get up and I'm going to be able to walk because this person said so. 4th birthday rolled around And it was the saddest birthday that I can remember. You should see the photos. Actually, I wish I had some to share. They're all at my mom's, so I don't think I can. But there's pictures of me with my birthday cake and at my birthday party, pouting and crying because I thought that I would be able to wake up on my 4th birthday and be able to walk. I was so sure that that was something for me, but alas, it didn't work that way. What did work, however, was when I was 5, around Halloween, because I distinctly remember the Halloween time, I had my first heel cord and hamstring lengthening surgeries. I had it on both my right and my left side. Was cast in a full length cast for what seemed like forever, but I don't know. I was a little girl, probably wasn't that long. So that was in October, and I think by May, with a lot of hard work and physio, I was finally able to take my first steps independently. I remember I had this Barbie quilt that was large, and it had squares on it, and one was a pink square, one was a Barbie face square, and one was a pink square, like a checkerboard. And my mom would lay that out, and I would practice walking on it from one square to the other. And that's how I learned how to walk. And then one day, that was situated in the living room, down the hallway, past a flight of stairs, and then there was a bathroom. My dad was taking a bath, and he shouted, "Hey, if you can walk here all by yourself, I'll get you a sippin' baby," which was a Cabbage Patch doll, very coveted in the late 80s, early 90s. And I wanted that sippin' baby. So I started the long trek from the living room to the bathroom, having to go past a flight of stairs. Probably took me 20 minutes to go. Just a few feet, but oh my goodness, I was bound and determined. That's what I was going to do. That was my goal. My mom walked beside me. She had her hands like this by my waist, but she did not touch me. She was just there in case I needed support or I was going to fall. And I did it. I walked all by myself from the living room to the bathroom, past a flight of stairs, so that I could have that sippin' baby. It still is one of the biggest achievements of my life and one of the proudest moments of my life. I still have that sippin' baby. I think she's at my mom's still. She's a little redhead with a little red outfit. Named her Molly. And after that, I was off. It was a lot of hard work. But I was able to walk independently, which is the holy grail of walking in this cerebral palsy world, right? I don't know how I feel about that anymore, but that's what everybody aspires to, that walking independently. I did not walk long distances independently. I still used a wheelchair for long shopping trips and holidays and things like that. And I did up until my teens. And then in my teens, I think I was 14 or 15, being self-conscious about the way I walked, which is the right foot was really turned in and it's up and it drags. Not much difference from what you'll see in the walking video of me now. But I wanted that gone. I wanted that corrected. I wanted to look like everybody else. So I went in for another heel cord lengthening surgery on my right side. This time I was awake for the surgery with a little morphine button. And I heard the surgeon go, "Uh-oh." And I said, "Uh-oh? What do you mean, uh-oh?" And all I remember after that was him giving me more morphine and then waking up. Now I live in Canada. We don't sue doctors here in Canada. I don't think it was really a doctor mistake. It just happened, but He told me it was very unlikely that I'd ever walk again. Just like that. I thought my walking days were over. So I lived in a wheelchair for about a year. And I went to a junior high school that was a 2-story building, which had an elevator that you couldn't really trust. So they would have 2 football players on either side of me, lift up the wheelchair and walk up and down the stairs. Not ideal. I hated my life then. It was a rough time. I was very depressed. I thought, how could this happen? I just learned to walk and it got taken away. How unfair is this? And I remember sitting in my room determined that this was not going to be my fate. This was not the end of my walking story. So one day I was determined. I put on my boots, my black boots. If you haven't seen my shoe video, I'll put it up here. You can go check out what I wear for shoes. I put on my black boots and I walked out to the kitchen and I went and got a snack, and my mom was like, "Hey, how's it going?" And we both realized I walked. It still looked exactly the same as it did pre-surgery. It was not pretty, it hurt, but hey, I was walking. And at that moment in time, I had vowed never to use a wheelchair or walking aid ever again. Fast forward now another few years. Everything was going great. I was in my early 20s. Started a new job, decided to go to Walmart one day to get some groceries after work, and was grazed by a car. If you haven't seen that video of me talking about the consequences of that, I'll link it up here below as well, or above here as well. And ever since that moment where I was grazed by a car and the car didn't stop, and I didn't really think much of it, but my balance started to go downhill drastically fast, to the point where I could no longer kid myself into thinking I could walk independently in public. So begrudgingly, I started using a cane, and I was very self-conscious about using a cane. I thought people would see it and they'd be like, ooh, she's not doing good. Look at her. I was just so self-conscious. But then I got over it and I realized that using a cane gave me more freedom and some independence back that I was missing. So that was okay. And then the cane wasn't doing it anymore. So my grandpa had just passed away last year, and he had a pretty walker that he thought was red, but I swear is pink, so thanks, Grandpa. And I decided for places like the mall and shopping that I would now use a walker, and I was extremely self-conscious about that. But again, it's giving me my independence back. And it's just what it is. It's just the aging process. So that's where we are in my walking story. I went from not walking at all, using a wheelchair, walking unassisted, using a wheelchair, walking unassisted, now using walking aids again. I am slated to have hip surgery in the next little while to get my hip replaced. So stay tuned. It's an ongoing saga. Okay, so now the much wanted walking footage. I had my mom take some footage of me last time we were at a store. Now I don't have my walker or my cane here, but I am using a grocery cart. So when the store does provide grocery carts, I use a grocery cart so I can be a little bit less conspicuous. Is that stupid? I don't know. Anyways, I just feel better using a shopping cart. Looks the same as if I were to be using my walker. So I'll insert that, and that's my walking story. Thank you so much for watching today. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more content like this, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps out my channel. Consider subscribing. I do have that contest going on where the first 1,000 subscribers, if you leave a comment on any of my videos, you will be entered to win a $50 Amazon gift card. I really do appreciate the support. And if you have your own walking story, please let me know down in the comments below. Until next time, bye-bye.